Good evening, everybody, morning, afternoon, whenever it is, wherever you are, and welcome to this matchup of the semifinals in the Master Sword Bracket of Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament 2020. My name is Tylersalt. Joining me here in the booth for commentary this evening is Kaesden. How are you doing, Kaesden?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to seeing this 5 versus 8 seed Master Sword matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Jawsomesauce, the 5 seed, versus Grimlegend, the 8 seed. We've got OmegAtoisk in the background pressing buttons and tracking for you. And thanks to Lumaga for the live stream. We should be going here momentarily. Looks like our mode here today is standard item randomization, open mode, randomized swords, defeat Ganon, pretty straightforward, just 10 arrows in Link's house here today. Both our runners headed for the Uncle start.
I was wondering if we would get any alternate starting strategies here, but yeah, they both go for the Uncle start.
Yeah, I mentored Jawsomesauce twice during the tournament, and he is a, as they say, dirty Uncle router for life. So I wasn't surprised to see that going on.
You know what? I'm in that same camp. I am a firm believer of the Uncle route for a start.
Yeah. So I don't mind it. It's fine. You know, I'm not in Herf's camp by any means. Half magic from the Uncle. Very nice find.
Yeah, it's nice to see a good safety like that just starting out. Definitely makes magic use something you don't really have to think too much about and just use it whenever it's convenient.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. Hopefully lots of fire rod spamming going on in Ganon's tower. That will definitely help. Big 20 in the Sanctuary chest. We'll see if either of our runners decides to check Lumberjack here. Looks like Jawsomesauce is not going to. And Orange Kupo in chat asks if that is a Chrono Trigger MSU. Yes, it is from Jawsomesauce. Ooh, and there's a Quake Medallion growing in the Lost Woods.
Just 10 arrows at the Thief's hideout. Didn't get a very successful haul. He left all the good stuff outdoors.
Yeah, terrible thief, this guy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this is game 1 of their matchup. Yes, I can see that confirmed on the layout. Now, this is game 1 of a best of 3 matchup between Jawsomesauce and Grimlegend, and of course, now in the semifinals of the brackets, neither of these runners has their mentors. They are alone from here on out. So we'll see how much knowledge they were able to get from their mentors going forward as Jawsomesauce pulls a hook shot out of the basement of Blindside. And luckily some bombs as well.
That's always nice. It's a little risky going into Blindside without any bombs, but I feel like more often than not you get bailed out.
Yeah, as we see the hammer in the back as well, I am not a fan. I personally, the way that I tend to start, just because I am so risk averse that I don't want to go into either Blindside or the well without bombs, is that I'll start Sank, and if I don't get bombs for 50 rupees, I'll save and quit and go farm them in the Haunted Grove. But this works just as well.
We got a bow in the well. Curious to see when we're going to see our first map check and see if that bow is pointing us to a crystal or a pendant.
There's a moon pearl already too. So just a glove away from Dark World access at the 4-minute mark. And there was our map check quick. I saw the Eastern was a crystal. I did not catch the other two.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it on the restream, see if I can catch it. Yeah, it's a crystal at Hera and a pendant at Desert.
All right, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
And
We get a
merchant.
Yeah, a vanilla bottle.
Being vanilla, except this time he's actually giving it with product.
That's very nice of him. First one's free, as they say.
You're going to end up getting hooked on that red potion.
Oh, Grimlegend with the chicken clip.
That's a pretty good clip. You can see almost the whole chicken on the other side.
So you see Jawsomesauce has opened up an insurmountable 2-check lead at this point. I don't know how Grimlegend's going to come back, to be honest.
Going for a blind check of race game, and it's just $100. I feel like that's one of those things where if you do go in blind and actually just grab it, it's something you're not upset to see, but it's not worth going back for. So I can totally see why Jawsome was save and quit there.
Yeah, I see Lumaga, who is also someone who mentored Jawsomesauce through SA, and he stopped Jawsome from doing the blind race game check. I also told him not to do that. It only works out about like a little less than 20% of the time. If you're playing Key Sanity, it's a much better play. 100 rupees is something that I would think about going back in, but really, oh, there's the flute there in the dam. That's kind of nice.
That's a nice hookshot clip to grab it too.
Yeah, that one's a little tricky. That one gives me a little bit of trouble. Nothing like the hookshot clip in Super Bunny that I just never even try anymore because it frustrates me to no end. But very nicely done there by Jawsome.
Does seem to start it out being pretty generous with what it's giving our runners.
Yeah, lots of mobility. Still just a glove away from Dark World access as we see Grimlegend getting that hookshot clip and the flute as well. Jawsome making his way into Mini Moldorm Cave. Got that hookshot. Got bombs, got a bow. It should be fine. Not bad. It can be a little easier to get those Mini Moldorms with the hookshot from below, but it's not too bad.
Yeah. We've got an Ether Medallion and a book. It's a pretty heavily stocked cave there.
Yeah, absolutely. Jawsome saving and quitting out of there, which I like. He's going to go activate his flute. No sense walking over to Ice Rod Cave right when you get the flute. You may as well just go and do that.
Also with that flute, they do have the flute, hammer, and hookshot. They do have pretty much full mountain access. Right
that is absolutely true. Yeah, you know, you'd want a fire source to make sure that you can beat, or that you can full clear Tower Hera, but it is beatable. I know the Jawsomesauce can Hera pot. I haven't seen Grimlegend do it, but I assume by the end of this tournament, you probably can. Somebody should have taught you that at some point.
I would expect by this point, watching everyone else do it, I'm sure they've all learned it.
Did Grimlegend just hookshot through the NPC?
I saw that, yeah. He hookshot through the NPC, but the NPC stopped his movement.
I love that.
That's actually pretty funny.
I'm going to do that now. That's hilarious.
I didn't know the hookshot would actually go through the NPC like that. That's actually,
I don't know if it's
like he was just high or just low or what it is.
I mean, if there's one thing that I've learned from watching Kern's blindfolded rando run over the past couple days, which is 27 hours and strong and going, is that the hookshot is not as reliable as you think it is. And there are some weird ass pixels in this game that it can clink off of or miss. that you would not necessarily know.
Have
yeah,
some very strange behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're about to see what's in this ice rock cave. Just $50.
I probably wouldn't have come right back here, but I do know that Jawsome's pretty risk averse. He doesn't like leaving stuff. I also don't like leaving Sphere 1 checks, but with the flute, this is free to come back to whenever, essentially.
Right.
You know, if you're going to skip it, skip it.
I like the check personally, because once you have the flute, the check's not going to get any better than it already is.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's not a big deal one way or the other.
Waiting for boots on a Sphere 1 check it can be risky, and it's a quick check. You might as well get it out of the way.
That's true. We have some divergence here. Jawsome said is up on the mountain, sequence breaking the old man. Grimlegend is taking that early book for a dip into Desert Palace. This is a pendant, might be boots locked, but that book is probably going to do something. It's this early. So I like this play from Grimlegend. I might have gone here before going up the mountain, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit of a coin flip which way to go. In Desert, you got a dungeon you can't beat because you don't have a glove, but there could be a glove here. And then up on the mountain, you don't have a fire source, so you might be abandoning something in the basement of Hera. And again, you need 2 gloves to do the Dark World, so you might...
Well, there's a glove from the old man
from
Jawsome. So that is a nice find for him. And Grim is going to be shut out of Desert immediately with a compass in that first chest. He's going to go see what's on the torch, though. Or gonna
go into the right.
Not sure why he's doing that.
Exit and go to
he's going to exit and go to Agina's cave. Yeah, smart.
Yeah,
so we've got.
It's a good play.
There's the Cane of Samaria up on Spectacle Rock. So we're going to need that mirror before too long.
I didn't see what's inside Spectacle Rock.
Yeah, he turned around really quick, but he wants it.
It must be something good.
It's the Flippers. All right.
It is the Flippers. Yeah, I just watched it on the restream. I saw a flash of blue and was like, is he going back for bombs? No, it is the Flippers. That's definitely something to go for.
That's a good eye on Jawsomesauce, because I did not see how that that was.
I saw a splash of blue. That was it.
Grimlegend pulling 300 rupees from Agina's cave. So that's not, it's not progression. It's nice, certainly, to find money in the early game. But I would imagine he's going to be headed up the mountain here and following in Jawsomesauce's tracks.
Yeah, pulling out the flute, I'm sure that's where he's going to be going.
Well, the Ice Rod Cave,
first,
yeah. Like I said, he's following in Jawsome's tracks. He's going to go to Ice Rod Cave and the mountain. That's exactly what I said. This has been an incredibly generous seed, just less than 15 minutes in.
That really has. We just got magic powder up in lower paradox.
Or upper, depending.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell.
Grim is actually going to take his hammer and head up into Hyrule Castle for the escape sequence. So putting off Death Mountain, hoping for a fire source before going up there.
One other thing that's interesting, it was the old man that had the glove, right?
It was the old man, so that's out of logic.
So that's the one good thing that's come from the mountain is out of logic. So that's interesting. That means the lamp
flippers are
sitting
good
around somewhere. That's true. Flippers are good.
Glove obviously the biggest thing that's come up there. So we see the ice rod, I believe that was up on the floating island.
It's not going to be an ice rod hunt, that's for sure. see the key for Hera. So that puts that basement that we can't get into play.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Not what you want to see. Hopefully, they get the big key right here.
They do not get the big key. In a way, that's almost, I almost see that as a good thing, that you're not going to be orphaning the basement. Whereas if you can go through and clear the whole thing, I guess he still could have gone up and parapoded through it. But
yeah,
if you go through and clear it, then you're leaving a bunch of stuff behind.
Yeah, I might have gone up there and beaten Moldorm. You get the hammer. You know, you're already up here. Save yourself a trip. You know, if you're not going up there, you're saying, okay, nothing is going to be in Hera, and I'm going to put it out and I'm going to put it off as long as possible.
You know, I think by leaving there, saying there's definitely something in Hera that you need to get, and it's going to be locked in the big chest.
I mean, there's a what, a 30 or a 67% chance that there's an item in the big chest at that point. So. So a whole lot of nothing in the front of Escape. Grimlegend is going to head into Dark Cross. We'll see what pops up there. Jawsome is going to be headed on over to Eastern Palace, I believe.
It looks that way. I'm curious if we'll get a peek at Hylia Island.
Looks that way.
Looks like we will. Just 10 arrows.
And he'll hop over and check the hobo as well. I would imagine that he's going to put off Zora checks. Nowhere near enough money for King Zora himself. Although, with the... No, all of that's in logic. I was thinking with the glove, but yeah, all of that's in logic.
Yeah, no, it's with the flippers, it's all in logic. I could see going up and checking that. You can still get the Waterfall Fairy and check the Zora Ledge item, pick it up if it's something useful. But the problem with doing that is then you're leaving Zora behind, which is not the quickest thing in the world to get back to if you need to get there.
No, and you know, you're thinking that he would end up like maybe trying to loop it in with a catfish check later on once you get the mirror. But he is going to head up there at least and check out Pyramid Ferry and peek the ledge.
What? Oh, and we find our second glove.
There we go.
The waterfall fountain.
Hey now.
So now Jawsome has full Dark World access. Pretty
looks
much
like
anywhere he wants to go.
It looks like Grimlegend pulled Bombos out of Dark Cross. So just 20 rupees there. And so this won't be a medallion hunt, at least.
So that actually also means the lamp may not have been what's locking that first glove.
Yeah, it could still be the fire. Yeah, it could be the fire rod.
Because getting up to Paradox to get or Spec Rock to get the flippers was completely in logic. So the glove that we have in Waterfall Fairy gave us our Dark World access completely in logic.
And Jawsome's putting off Eastern Palace, interestingly.
I like going to the Hype Cave check. It's a high density area that you can do right away. Be curious to see which direction he goes leaving here.
Well, it's going to pay off. He gets our first sword from the NPC and some blue mail and a boomerang.
Definitely seen worse Hype Caves than that.
Sure, that's a solid
6 out of 10.
I was going to say 7. It's your first sword.
Yeah, 6, 7. I'll agree with either of those.
Grim headed into Eastern Palace. This is probably what I would have done if it were me. I'd try to go, hey, do Crystal Dungeons when you can. Here's our map check. Green pendant at Swamp, red pendant at Mire, and a red crystal at Turtle Rock. I didn't see the other red crystal.
I think the other red crystal was at Skull Woods.
All right. So we're going to need that fire rod for sure. Yeah, confirmed. CJ in chat pointing out that both of our runners had to use their red potions pretty early on. So that's unfortunate for them as Jawsome digs up a bug net immediately. But with those Titan's Mitts, he's going to keep going. He's going to go ahead into the Village of Outcasts, pushing that advantage of having gone up Death Mountain.
You know, this could end up paying off. So if he finds a mirror up here in Beevestown, somewhere along this route, he can route in Pod and Eastern together and potentially save some time. It's not going to be a huge difference since they have the flute, so getting to Eastern and getting to Pod isn't that bad, but it definitely will save a little bit of time. That's assuming they find a mirror somewhere along the way.
Yeah, it might not be required since Swamp is a pendant. You hope for their sakes that they find it, just because not having the mirror sucks.
Yeah, that's true. But at least if they don't end up finding one, at least they do have a flute. They have their Titan's Mitts, or at least Jawsome does. We know Grim's going to end up getting it at some point. So it's not the worst situation when you have the flute to get around.
Oh, something happened to, we're fixing that, I believe, on Grimlegend's screen.
A little technical hiccup there.
It is true that not having the mirror means you get to skip a ton of checks, but it also means that getting around is just so much more of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, especially if you end up having to do Smith Chain.
All right, unfortunately,
that's on his end. Okay.
Yeah, that seems to be on Grimlegend's side.
I'm curious what's going on there because might be back.
Nope, here we go. Yeah, it looks like something may be going on with his computer. That's unfortunate, but good that he was able to get it fixed at least. Seems like he's working on it. Hate to see that in the middle of a competitive race, but hopefully he'll be able to continue soon.
Must have misclicked something in OBS while he was reaching for his tracker, and we find the lamp in Beevestown.
All right, so Jawsomesauce's decision so far, coming up aces, has found a lot of progression. Seems to be working out for him. He'll be able to full clear Thievestown, get a crystal here.
Actually, and I just realized we will need that mirror because of where the ice rod is.
Oh, good point. Yes, actually, so that mirror will be required.
So, yeah, so they need the mirror and a fire rod, and they'll be in go mode. And the red cane.
And another sword.
Yeah.
But we did see
will turn up somewhere.
We saw the red cane. Red cane's on Spectacle Rock, so the mirror gets them that too.
Yeah, yet another reason we need a mirror.
Grim was having some trouble with those anti-fairies around that switch. Is able to get it. We'll see if he grabs a fairy here in this room before heading on. Jawsome dodging the whatever these are, grasshoppers here in the hardest easy rooms in the game.
You know, you'd never think that a grasshopper, cricket, or whatever it is would hurt as much as it does in this game.
Yeah, they suck. He's on blue mail already, so, you know, not quite as bad.
Yeah, it's just one heart of damage, but that's still, you know, they still pack a punch.
Grim trying to find that Igor here in the back of Eastern Palace. It's unfortunate. There, he found one of them at least. It's unfortunate that he has the medallions that you need to make this easy, and unfortunately, no sword, can't use them.
Yeah, that's a pain. And also, not having a sword, you can't use the sparkles to kind of find out where you are.
Looks like he lost track of the key too, unfortunately. No small key for Jawsomesauce, so we can skip the big chest, head right up to take on Blind.
And Grim looks like he's getting bullied a little bit, possibly by the remaining Igor.
He did find the key, though. Here he goes.
And he makes it through. Well, that's not easy to do when you don't have a sword to kind of pinpoint your location on the screen.
Absolutely. It's like Jawsome off script a little bit. Wasn't quite centered, I think. Able to recover pretty well, though.
Yeah, he was on a weird location, but he was able to recover the script mostly.
Mostly. Nicely done there by Jawsome. Yeah.
Use of a hook out there trying to get a double heart from Grimlegend.
Yeah, that heart dupe happens sometimes, basically. It's a frame rule sort of thing.
It's one of those things where it happens 50-50 unless you need it, then it just won't happen at all.
Exactly. As Jawsome pulls the OK Boomerang out of the chess game.
So I feel like after this, Grim is probably going to be pushed to go up the mountain because I think he's starting to run low on locations he can get to.
Yeah, I think that's probably, that's got to be where he's headed next. Able to, had a little bit of trouble with the quick kill there at the beginning, but was able to recover pretty well.
That was a real nice recovery.
Yeah.
I think he was hitting the Armos Knight, keeping it from getting into its position to let it start the rotation.
Yeah,
so he was able to buy
them.
himself some extra time to get back onto the script.
That was really, really well done to think on his feet like that as he picks up crystal number 1 as well. But other than that, Eastern, a big old bust. So no help in there, but the crystal, nice to have.
Yeah, getting the crystal is still a good thing. See where Jawsome's going to head off to next.
He's headed over towards Eastern Palace as well. Although I imagine he'll do Eastern and then immediately go over into Pod.
Right.
Which is also full clearable at this point.
That's always a tough decision to make, which one you do first.
If you don't
Eastern
have the hand,
being the easier dungeon, but
yeah.
Pod, if you end up finding the mirror in there, I've seen it more than once.
Yeah,
it's a feels bad moment.
I'm always gonna go to Eastern first in that case. Just because, I don't want to bank on. I would rather get the mirror in Pod than have to go all the way back to one of them,
Right. And also you might get an extra sword here in Eastern that's going to make Pod a lot easier. This Pod on Fighter Sword is not the most fun thing in the world.
No, and also even if you don't find the mirror in either place, right? Then you if you finish in Pod, you can walk out of Pod, and now you're over by Pyramid and over by Catfish.
Right.
And two checks that, at least speaking for myself, I orphan the crap out of every time I play. So
yeah, those are real hard checks to route in nicely sometimes. Sometimes you're able to pair it with a big bomb or something, but just getting them done can be a bit of a pain. Grim just found his flippers, so he'll be going to pick those up.
And as Lumaga pointed out in chat, Jawsome's going to have a little bit of a smoother time here in Eastern Palace with that lamp that he got in Thieves Town. So we'll be able to pick up a little bit more time on Grim there. As we reach the 30-minute mark in this race.
And Lumaga bringing up a good point that Jaws is going to have a little bit easier time over here in Eastern since he has that lamp.
Yes, I agree.
And the sword.
The sword will definitely help. I didn't mention the sword, but the sword is definitely a big help. Will be interesting to see if Graham decides to Herapot going up there. He won't have a fire source, of course, but again, does have everything that you would need in order to at least beat Hera, if not full clear it.
Yeah, beat Hera, guaranteed to get one item. So I think it's worth doing.
I certainly would have done it. I do know for a fact that Jawsome can Herapot. So what's our next piece of progression that we're going to find? I have a feeling it's, all signs are pointing to Palace of Darkness at this point for our next big piece of progression. I suppose it could be in the front of Skullwoods. That's a possibility as well. But Pod is certainly the densest place that's left.
Yeah, Pod is the density. I think the worst thing that could happen would be like a fire rod in Skullwood. That's the worst place you ever want to see it.
That is why that has burned me enough times, no pun intended, that is why I always go into Skullwoods first and do the front when I'm over there without fail, because every time I don't do it, it screws me. And that's interesting. I was pretty thrilled that earlier today when I was talking to Jawsome about this race, that he said that he was going to do it and that I could tell everybody that I told him to do that. And then he didn't do it. So we're going to have a talk. Blue Kano raising a point. Ice Palace also fully in logic at this point. Jawsome is not able to get there, but will be once he does Escape and Dark Cross.
Yeah, and the later this game goes, the easier it is to orphan Dark Cross, so that could be interesting if the Fire Rod ends up being in Ice Palace. That could elude Jawsome for a while. And we do see the Herapot on Grim's side.
Really nice. Done. Yeah, without the boots, without a sword. Very nice.
And we get a bottle. So there's still a chance of full clearing it here.
Grim, like me, is paranoid about that bomb jump. The penalty for missing that bomb jump is just so rough. He doesn't have the big key. Never mind. What I said about the bomb jump still applies, though. Screw that bomb jump.
Yeah, if I don't have a sword to do the sword spin lineup, I will never try that bomb jump because I'll fall almost every time.
I can never get that sword spin lineup to work. I just fall off the ledge.
There's definitely a bit of a timing to it. Once you get that timing down, it is a very useful trick. But it can be a little finicky at times.
Yeah, and Grimlegend takes down Moldorm, gets that piece of heart, the second item. So that is a nice get for him as he picks up crystal number 2. That's unfortunate for Jawsome, who's going to have to make another trip up there. Hopefully, well, we know that there's nothing he needs in there, so he ought to be able to leave that until the very last minute at this point.
Right. But at the same time, he doesn't know that there's nothing in there. So depending where he finds his progression or doesn't find it, could definitely cost him a trip up the mountain. But we are seeing that look into pod, and I do like this play because this is a very dense location.
All right, 2 chests, 2 keys. There are 6 chests here in the front. 4 of them have to be keys. There's a 3rd key.
I don't know about you, but I think the worst thing that I ever see in pod is when you get the 5 key front.
Ooh, man.
It just feels so bad.
Well, you've been in pod for like 4 minutes already and don't have any items.
Right.
So that was 4 keys. There's still 1 chest in the front, the vanilla big key chest. Jawsome's gonna go check that now. I think it would have been a little bit more efficient to do bridge chest, then this, then the Stalfos basement, but this works fine. Now Grim's
about to get caught up on his Dark World access with the Titan myths that are incoming here.
Yeah, and he'll be able to show us King Zora as well. With Jawsome, when he came up here, did not have enough money to go visit the King of Scams.
And he's actually, Jawsome still doesn't have enough money, so hopefully he's paying attention to that and can go collect all the money from the basement to get up to that 500 mark.
Yeah, that'll work. All right, so Kaesden, or excuse me, you're Kaesden. Jawsomesauce dodging a bit of a bullet there. Nothing on King Zora. We'll see if he heads back up there or if he's able to skip it entirely.
Yeah, Scamfish living up to his name, just taking all the money and not really giving it.
and that was the fire rod there in the back of escape. Hey now.
That's a really good find. I do like the decision to get to back escape right away. That's a early, somewhat sphere 1 check. Depending on how it gets locked, it can be pushed a little later. But it's so fast. It's good to go in there and check that as soon as you get a glove.
Yeah, easy to forget that, especially when you have the flute and you're not constantly saving and quitting the sanctuary.
So far, it seems like Pod seems to be full of a lot of not much.
Yeah, pretty much all garbage in here. We'll get a crystal out of it, of course.
So the real big remaining question is, where is that mirror?
Yeah, that's the last thing that that we need before we're in no mode, interestingly enough.
Maybe it's sitting here on Helmasaur.
This is shaping up to be a very interesting race. Jawsomesauce had a bit of an early lead. I'd say he's played a little bit cleaner. The decisions that he made early on have paid off a little bit. But Grim, importantly, has been to 2 locations that Jawsomesauce hasn't. And both of them are in the back of escape and in Dark Cross, and both of those had required items: the fire rod and bombos. So going to be really interesting, going to be really important for Jawsome to get there sooner rather than later.
Do we know that bombos is required at this point? We were thinking it was for Ice Palace, but we also
that's true. That's a good point. We don't know that for sure.
It may
That's
be
right. You're right.
It may be required.
At any rate. That
I
fire
can
rod
never
is required,
see the icon on the tracker for what it was marked. I could remember if we saw it yet.
We have not seen either medallion yet. So Pod a big bust as well, but Jawsome does get crystal number 3.
Yeah, so Jaws definitely has a crystal advantage, but depending when he gets into the back of escape, that could be a make or break decision for him.
Yeah, chat pointing out, Grim is shaping up for a hammer blind fight, which is not fun and pretty difficult if you've never practiced it before. It's totally doable, but difficult to stay on script for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely not a fun one to do, and doesn't have Cane of Berna or Samara without a sword. It's just, you just got to practice it.
Yep. Nothing on the mushroom. And this looks like a Dark Death Mountain play for Jawsomesauce. I don't know that I like this without the mirror, especially when you haven't done like Escape or checked the Mire area yet. You're basically, because you know that you need this ice rod. Right. I might try to put this off a little bit. I mean, maybe the mirror's up here. We don't know. But,
the mirror it could be up here, but from Jawsome's perspective, it could also be in the back of Escape. And not
or the front of Escape for that matter. He hasn't done any of Escape.
True.
So I don't like this is my personal philosophy. I don't like delaying Sphere 1 checks a long way. I just don't like it. It's weird. It doesn't sit right by me. Looks like he's gonna finish up Tower of Hera while he's up here, which is also defensible. And then head into the Dark World. Not gonna try hair potting.
Straight for the big key. I agree with doing this. The whole reason Jawsome left before is because he didn't want to leave that big chest. If you do Herapod at this point, I mean, we know the answer, but
I guess that's true. Yeah, if you weren't gonna do it, if you weren't gonna do it then, you should definitely not do it now. That's true. Maybe you needed a break. You need some water.
Yep, that's a good time to get it. Get a solid minute of time to relax and think.
30 seconds. A little late in the day on the East Coast for coffee, but so yeah, Grim looks like has a red potion. It's a heart dupe. That's nice. And I believe a bottle with a fairy in it as well. Did he throw a bottle into Waterfall Fairy?
I think so, but I don't recall what came out.
It was a fairy, is what came out. I definitely remember that.
Okay, I think he did.
Grim almost falling victim there to Ye Old's get hurt a lot going for a safety heart.
Gets through the first phase. Gotta be careful here. Down to one heart. He does. I'm guessing he has that fairy. Yeah,
he does have that fairy.
The fairy. Saving the red potion for last, I guess.
Yeah, he's only about halfway through the fight. Jawsome taking down Mothula with that hammer right quick for crystal number 4.
One hit to go for Grim.
And one hit left on him. Oh, it came down to the wire. Nicely done.
That was a real nice dodge there right at the end. Those 3 fireballs coming right for him and just managed to squeak between them.
So it was a bit touch and go there, but Grimlegend does take down Blind for crystal number 3 on his side. Jawsome making his way over towards Turtle Rock to make his way into the Dark Death Mountain area. Mirror on Laser Bridge, anybody? I shouldn't even put that out into the universe. That's just rude.
You know, you said it, so if it's there. We are going to get Turtle Rock opened up at least. Won't be going inside though.
Oh, that's right. Mirror's on the Samaria's on Spectacle Rock, so Mirror can't be in Turtle Rock. That's good. I was about to say that's too bad, but that's good.
That is good, yeah. Tried your best, and we get a Master Sword in Super Bunny.
Yeah, we are now a mirror away from no mode. We have seen Cane of Samaria. It's up on Spec Rock. Grimlegend about to get his first sword 51 minutes in. That definitely doesn't feel great. Jawsome making the play he needs to and is going to be able to clear escape here.
I'm sure Grim is quite relieved to finally have a sword.
Yeah, Blue Mail will help there too.
Oh,
I imagine Palace of Darkness is in his near future.
Yeah, it's a good play. Unfortunately, we already know what's in there and what's not in there.
Yeah, we'll see. Grim is going to show us Pyramid Ledge first. Jawsome hopefully will go all the way through escape here. You know, he can full clear it from the front. Is the key in the front? I didn't see back of escape while it was being checked, so I'm not sure if the key is in the front or not.
He doesn't have a key right now, so it must not be.
Yeah, that's true. So hopefully he remembers to go do that immediately. I do know that he tends to think about front of escape and Dark Cross as separate areas from back of escape.
Right. Yeah, it is technically all the same dungeon.
Well, sure, yeah, but you know, it's like, I mean, you know, you might not go through both of them at the same time. You know, so hopefully he thinks to set up a death warp here. Oh no, saving and quitting.
Just save and quit. I actually think this could be a good play if he's
actually
going straight to
he's going to back sank. Yeah, all right, there we go.
This is the right way to do it.
Yeah. So he will be. We'll see if he probably make his way through to the back, through the back to Dark Cross at this point with the lamp. That's not too bad.
Yeah, so he's going to find a key here in the back. Hopefully doesn't decide to orphan Dark Cross. We know it's not needed for Turtle Rock, though, so it may, unless there's something hiding in Misery Mire, the Bombos may be irrelevant. But he is going to go ahead and go in and get it.
Yeah, that makes sense at this point. You got the key. You're right here. It's never going to be easier, certainly.
Right.
So Grim headed into Palace of Darkness. Jawsomesauce picking up his Bombos medallion here in Dark Cross. I would imagine that Ice Palace is on the menu. That would be my guess.
Yeah, that's definitely a good spot to go to. Got your Bombos, got your Fire Rod, got everything you need to make it easy, except for maybe a Tempered Sword would be nice, but it's definitely doable with half magic and a Fire Rod.
Yeah, absolutely. Like maybe you go to Skull first, maybe you find a Tempered Sword there or something, but you know,
Yeah, I personally,
That is what he's doing, looks like.
I'd rather do Ice Palace first. I think Cold Stare with the Fire Rod and Earth Magic. In Mothula with the same loadout is about the same, but they can both be a little rough without a Tempered Sword.
Yeah, I think I go to Skull first. Personally, I think that it's pretty quick, and you know, I think that having Tempered Sword in the Moth fight is nice, but I would rather, if I'm only gonna have Tempered Sword for one of these fights, I would rather have it for Cold Stare than for Mothula personally.
Right. I think the one advantage you would get doing Ice Palace first is, well, they don't have the.
Oh, they don't have the cane. Yeah, so maybe
yeah,
he's
so
hunting for
there.
hunting for the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah, if they had the cane, I think it would make more sense to do your full clear dungeon in Ice Palace, but without it, they're both pretty time consuming to go through.
Yeah, so far the story, we see some questions in chat about what's explaining the difference between these two runners. It really is just decision making, right? Grim's routing has been just a little bit less efficient than Jawsome's has, and the gambles that he took didn't quite pay off. Only got that first sword just 6 or 7 minutes ago, whereas Jawsome found it pretty early on.
Yeah, I think the sword is really the biggest difference maker in here. Outside of, they did have some different routing choices, but they ended up covering each other's footsteps. But Jawsome was just able to do a lot of these bosses and dungeons just that little bit quicker.
Yeah, and also Jawsome went up to Death Mountain first and got that first glove quicker than Grim did as well. And then the first glove was on the old man, which was a sequence break for both of them, but the flippers were inside Spectacle Rock, which led to the other glove in Waterfall Ferry. So that just worked out a little bit better for Jawsome than Grim's routing has. Really, really nice Moth fight. Moth cooperating extremely nicely with Jawsome there.
Just gets $1 for his effort, but yeah, it's rare for Moth to kind of be that nice and stay away from the spikes for so long.
So that's 5 crystals before the hour mark for Jawsome. Very nice. Remembering about that chest. That's good. I lost a race a couple weeks ago because last location my Titansmith's there because I totally forgot about it.
Ooh, that's a rough one to skip because that one's not easy to get back to.
No, it's not. Some nice jukes there by Grimlegend on the collapsing bridge. That second mini Helma is a bit of a jerk.
Curious if that bomb might have been a little too low. Didn't see if it opened it up. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. So we don't have game audio on the commentary screen, so we didn't hear the jingle there.
We'll find out shortly. Either way, it's just a bomb drop. It's not a big time difference.
No, you can even just drop a bomb right when you enter and throw it down. That's fine.
That's one of those things that I know you can do, and I've never done it. I always think about it about the time I get to the bomb. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess I should have thrown the bomb downwards, but now I'm over here.
There's our other item out of Skull Woods, just 3 bombs, and Jawsome is out.
quick save and quit. I would be surprised if he goes anywhere other than Ice Palace at this point.
I would have to think that's the play. Maybe a stop off to get a potion beforehand, but...
Right.
But here we go. Yep, Ice Palace it is. Got to dust off the good old IPBJ.
And this is why you still need to know how to do that trick. As nice as Icebreaker is, there's still some seeds where you just can't do it.
Sorry, that was an incredibly mean piece of heart there by Grimlegend. He had set up a death warp, was down to half a heart, and then got his 4th piece of heart in the pot big chest with 12 hearts.
That's so frustrating.
That's really unfortunate.
On the plus side, at least he didn't have red mail.
At least he didn't have red mail. Well, those flames take 1 heart regardless, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Jawsome pulls a key out of the first chest. Always nice to see that. Make sure routing, especially when you're doing the bomb jump, makes your routing in the rest of the dungeon a little bit nicer.
Yeah, when you don't get to break right into the back, if you don't get that key, it can be a bit of a hassle to figure out.
Adds a couple rooms. You got to drop down into the ice, the big ice room, then and do the hook shot room. It's big. It's a whole production.
Get to see my least favorite room in all of Ice Palace.
This room sucks.
It really does.
It's so bad.
That conveyor belt just knows exactly when to switch directions when you're like 1 pixel away from the spike that you're trying to stay away from, and it just says nope.
Pixel too high, I believe there. And got JP 1.0'd by the fire bar. There we go.
There we go.
3rd time's the charm. Good old hookshot strats in there.
Johnson making use of that early key, make the routing as nice as it can be when you have to do the bomb jump.
Nice powder there. Powder that fairy under the block, or the powder the bunny beam under the block before you even pick the block up. Very nicely done.
Just a big 20 so far.
Now at this point, the route is now you go north in the cross room. Here with the big spike and drop down into the ice room and go to iced tea immediately. That's the way that I do it. That way you get to do the easier. Well, now you have the big key. It's a little less important. But yeah, this is the way I like to do this. This way you do iced tea first. The bomb jump to get back into the freezer room is a little bit easier than the bomb jump to get from freezer room to iced tea. At least for me.
I think if you're committing to doing iced tea, this way's a little bit faster. Going the other way, you're kind of gambling on if you can skip iced tea, which can save you time, but it can also turn around and bite you.
Yeah, but if you're looking for stuff still, you know, and look, and there was an item, so he was going to end up checking it anyway. Unless I'm playing Ambrosia, really, I'm checking it every time.
Yeah, I tend to check it every time as well. It's so rough to leave, especially something that deep in this dungeon when you're on top of that looking for a mirror, which is locking some area, which makes it that much worse. You got to clear the dungeon.
This looks good. Nicely done. And there's the mirror. Jawsomesauce is in no mode at this point. Not quite go, but pretty dang close.
I'd go out on a limb and call it go mode. He knows where the items that he needs are, and he just got to go up there, grab them, and head right into Turtle Rock.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing that he's got left to do. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so 1 hour, 5 minutes, Jawsome's in go mode.
That's pretty quick. It's kind of interesting that the seed put so many items that you need just in plain sight and locked you out of them for so long.
Yeah, interesting placement there by the game. Very nice cold stare fight there. Taking down those puffs with the fire rod half magic. Easy every time.
Got a lot of nice bonus AoE hits on those puffs. That was really nice.
Yeah, it's always good. Now, I would imagine that Jawsome is in go mode, right? Only Turtle Rock left. Both of the items that you need for Turtle Rock are up on Death Mountain. But I would imagine that he's going to be doing some checks, because right now he's staring a Master Sword Silverless fight in the face, and nobody wants to do that.
Right. I think it just comes down to a question of, do you check Laser Bridge? He's grabbing a few potions, so it's probably in his mind that he's going to keep looking for silvers or at least another sword. I think there's a good chance of finding one, if not both.
Oh, he's wasting that red potion to buy another blue. Okay.
I would have considered dumping the fairy, personally, because the fairy's only going to give you 7 hurts versus a full heal from a red potion.
You know,
but the fairy does give you the benefit of, if you forget to click your potion,
yeah, exactly,
then then you have that feels bad moment.
It's a nice fail save.
I know quite well. I've died with potions more often than I'd like to admit.
Never feels good. Yeah, so he's got to be hoping that he finds either tempered or silvers, preferably both, obviously, but one or the other will make him breathe the sigh of relief, I'm sure.
Oh, and Jawsome gets dead rocked on his way up the mountain.
The worst enemy in all of video games. Don't at me. Lumaga, I said not to at me. How dare you?
He gave you a double at too.
He did give me the double at. At least I am in good company with at Megawatt.
Jocelyn picking up that fire rod to officially be in go mode.
DFS, thank you for those salty bits. I appreciate that. Blue Kano making a good point. Still might need the boots. Still might need the boots.
That 1 in 22 chance.
I've seen it happen. It happens.
Yeah, I've seen it happen before too. I think I totally agree with this. You still go forward and assume you don't need them, but you know,
yeah, nothing you do about it at this point, certainly.
If the boots are required, boots on ped, and then this will turn into one hell of a seed.
This jet seed crashed.
Right.
Yeah, Shro mode, Schrodinger's go mode. Jawsome almost went 4 for 4 dodging those rollers. Takes a hit on the last one. It's pretty good. Oh yeah, Master Sword Silverless, and neither the cane nor the cape is not a good time for sure.
Yeah, and really the cane wouldn't help much, even if they
no, certainly not.
You can't do your spins.
That's true. At least it would help with like fire bats and everything like that.
Right. Yeah, let you dodge a little bit easier.
Jawsome showing off those cat-like reflexes, avoiding those chain chomps.
Yeah, that's smart to play that room real safe, because those chain chomps, they don't care. They'll just take off one limb at a time until you're dead.
They will cut a bitch, is what they will do. Grim smartly hesitating, letting that Wallmaster go by. We'll see if Jawson opens this the lava chest. Nope, he's going.
Yeah, he's in straight go mode at this point.
I might have opened it looking for tempered or silvers, I'm not gonna lie, but I appreciate the chutzpah, if nothing else.
Yeah,
this is the playoffs.
It's a bit of a tough call.
It's the playoffs, go.
You got to go, but at the same time, if it's right there, how much time can you potentially save having a tempered sword?
Yeah,
arrows?
You know, it's like,
is that going to save you the time of having to full clear TR?
Yeah, like the time difference between the Master Sword Silverless fight and the Tempered Sword Silverless fight is not like, you know, the difference between those two fights is not big, but the difference between losing a fight and not losing a fight, is big. But you do have 2 keys. You could just go to the back.
And there's still 2 keys at this point, so Jocelyn can go all the way to the back. So there's something. It might be a map or a compass. I don't think we've found either one yet. But if there's...
Oh no, Jawsome is out of bombs. Oh no.
Oh, that's not good. I can't remember if there's any bombs under a pot here either.
He's gonna check Mimic Cave. Oh, I thought he was gonna check Mimic Cave. Guess not. Is there a bomb here?
I think there is.
There it is.
Yes, there's a bomb.
Whew. Whew, boy.
Well, that was a good heads-up moment. I don't know if he's just checking out of panic or if he knew that was there. It's a good heads-up play to go find it rather than having to mirror out.
Usually, if you're picking up any pots on that in that room other than the one in the middle, you're doing it wrong. But so I honestly did not know what was underneath any of the rest of those. But
I just know the center pot and the one to the left of the heart. If you grab that.
Well, there are some bombs. Okay.
A little late for those bombs, but you know, better late than never.
Yeah, at least he's got one for the safety door now. I'm not sure what is keeping Grim away from Ice Palace. Unfortunately, he's doing a bunch of overworld stuff that he don't need to do. So hopefully he makes his way to Ice Palace before too long. Jawsome is going to come down here and at least take the safety door. Whoop.
Yeah, I gave it a try and thought better of it real quick. I think it's a good idea to take that door because you just never know. Get knocked off the bridge at the wrong time, get 1.0'd, and you can be dead in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, maybe it's chat's bringing up a point. Like maybe my icebreaker, looking for icebreaker, but they do know where Samaria is. It's up on the mountain, so you know, I could go either way.
Could just be looking for a sword, too.
Certainly possible.
Good use of that powder to get a full refill right before the boss.
Yeah, so folks, this is why the Ice Palace bomb jump ended up at the top of the skills that you need to learn list episode of the podcast. This is why, because you don't always have the cane. So
Jawsome choosing to take out the ice head first to make sure there's not going to be the ice on the floor.
I don't mind that on the hammer fight, actually.
I think it's a good call. So when that ice gets up there, and depending where Trinex decides to sit down, it can be rough. And he does take a death, but I believe has a fairy.
Does have that fairy, yep.
Gotta be careful here.
There we go.
Okay, there's that blue potion. Jawsome's fighting the second hardest enemy in the game, the menu boss.
There we go. So unfortunately did have to use a potion. So we'll be down to one potion heading into Ganon's tower. Hopefully he manages to find a sword or the cape or the silvers in there. Grim finally making his way over to Ice Palace. This is the move. Well done there.
Falling back on the Master Sword swings instead of the hammerheads, which is, I think it's a good decision. Takes a little bit longer, but it's still a lot faster than dying and having to go back and start it all over.
Absolutely. And he's got to feel pretty good about where he is there in terms of time, right? It's an hour 20. He's about to head into GT. Is a really good, you know, he's on a really good pace. I can't imagine that if he feels too far behind, if behind at all.
Yeah,
Feels like
I
he
can't
played this seed
imagine
pretty well.
He found all the stuff he needed just kind of as he was going through the seed. The pod dip probably felt pretty bad, but you know that's something your opponent is very likely to also do.
And oh yeah, we're playing
he's got to be feeling good.
And right, we're playing the Ganon Tower Big Key guessing game. Get your numbers in, 1 through 22. Where's that big key going to be, Kaesden?
You know, it looks like chat's already got the right idea here. I usually pick either 12 or 13. That's where I tend to go.
All right. Well, a couple people have those numbers. We'll see. I went with my usual guess of 10. CJ being that guy with 22.
I went ahead and put 21. Do a Price is Right strategy against CJ here.
Number 1 hits a key. Number 2 just bombs. Big 20 on Bob's torch. That's number 3. Four, 5, 6, and 7. The single arrow, a key. 10 arrows. And the big key, number 7, is your winner.
Lucky number 7. So that means Jawsome is, what, about 4 chests from being forced to do that Master Sword fight. So I imagine he'll be opening everything along the way, just hoping to find something to make it a little easier.
I would think. Congratulations to Nick Musk, winning again, it's our Big Key guessing game, winning 7 internet points. The most important things in the world.
Don't spend them all in one place. And if you do find somewhere to spend them, let me know.
Yes. Amazon, probably.
Yeah, I haven't managed to find where on Amazon you can check out with big key points, but I'll keep
somewhere. it's in the works. Let me call Bezos.
Yeah, you got him on speed dial, right?
Yes, speed dial's still a thing, definitely. Well, DFS say you can use those at GDQ, right? It's like, well, maybe, but GDQ is just at your house this year, so. Maybe the real.
It means you got to spend those points to drink a beer at your own house.
Maybe the real Ganon Tower Big Key guessing game was the friends we made along the way.
There you go.
Jawsome making me look smart when we got half magic at Uncle and said we're going to see some fire rod spamming in Ganon's Tower. Yes, we are. Maybe the real Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game was inside us all along.
How to save some of that half magic for the rest of the tower climb.
No, that's true. You want to be able to use that Samaria cane here. There's a little bit of magic in the next room. Enough for 2 shots.
Yeah, and with half magic, if you grab the small refills in the torch room, you have enough to at least use the lamp, so Should still be in a good spot and not have to use the potion. I will say, though, it never feels good having to climb Ganon's Tower without boots.
Yeah, it's never fun. Jawsome makes it through the most satisfying rooms in the game. Grimlegend about to get his mirror. There it is. At 125.20, Grimlegend is in no mode. But unfortunately, barring a disaster in the Master Sword Silverless fight, which is entirely possible. It's a difficult fight. Seems like it's going to be too little, too late for Grimlegend, but weirder things have happened, certainly.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't count anyone out with the Master Sword Silverless fight still coming up, because that still can go anyway. We're down to 2 chests that could save us from that Master Sword Silverless fight.
These 2 chests have saved me from a Master Sword Silverless fight plenty of times, though, so who knows? There's the Uncle Bombs. 1 check left. As Grim takes down Cold Stare. There's an interesting question in chat from CJ. Would you check Pyramid Fairy if you were Master Sword Silverless? I probably would not. I would consider it if I was having a really hard time. But there's the map, so that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, I don't think I would check it either. I would just be assuming my opponent's not going to be checking it, and if I do, I'm just, throwing away all that time, and I don't know that I would be willing to risk that. I would just go for it, and if I can't get the fight down and I lose, then, I would just accept
that. So Domingo Da Vinci asking, what is no mode? It's KNOW mode. That is when they know where everything is that they need to finish the game, as opposed from Go mode where they have everything. So they still need the Cane and Samaria and the Ice Rod, but they saw where both of those were. They're up here on the mountain. They were mirror locked. So getting that mirror means that that was the last thing that they needed, and they can go on and finish the game.
Now, it's really rare for runners to ever be in no mode. Usually.
Yeah, usually
it's just commentary.
Usually it's just commentary and chat. Yeah. But welcome to the race here, Domingo. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Make sure you check out the Go Mode podcast, available wherever fine podcasts are sold.
Make sure to give our runners a follow, too, putting on a nice race for us. And our tracker, OmegAtoisk, and our Restreamer, Lumaga.
Jawsome smartly, though, is going to go pick up some potions before this fight. This I do approve of. He did have to use a potion or 2 in GT. So, he did have to use 1 potion and that fairy between TR and Ganon's Tower. So I definitely approve of this move.
Yeah, I do too. It's, you're in for a long fight. It's an endurance fight. It just, there's a lot of opportunity to take damage, and being able to recover from anything you do take is a very good thing. It is time, though, to find out where those silver arrows are hiding.
So here we go. Master Sword, Silverless Ganon. With the Master Sword, slashes don't work. You gotta spin him. And it is a grand total of, I don't even remember how many. It's a lot of spins over the course of this fight.
Yeah, 12 spins in the first 2 phases, then you get 4 spins in phase 3 for each side of the room, and then 24 spins in phase 4.
And phase 1 and phase 2 are by far the most dangerous parts of this fight in the Master Sword fight for sure. Got to spin to win.
Yeah, phase 2 especially without a cape, it's tough. It's tough to get those spins in, dodge the bats. You're gonna have probably 2 or 3 cycles.
2 or 3 if you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Like it could easily be like 6.
You can get 2 pretty easily if you have a magic cape, but if you don't have that, it could take you quite a few cycles to do it. Yeah, I think 6 is probably a more reasonable guess when you think it's 12 spins.
You could probably get at least maybe 4, right? You can get 2 spins in before the fire bats go out, and then another spin after they go out. But that's that second potion for Jawsome already. You can see that those fire bats on Blue Mail still doing 3 hearts of damage per hit.
Be curious to see over on Grimlegend side if he decides to go check Laser Bridge in its entirety. It's still it's a long ways to go, but it could be a difference maker.
Jawsome in a good rhythm with that hook shot. Unfortunately, unable to get to the top corner there. That can be really nice. If you can get to that top corner before Ganon starts spinning his trident there, you can just stand in that top corner and spin for free. Ooh, Jawsome is living dangerously, and unfortunately, it does not pay off there. Takes a death. And he's going to go potion up.
So this is still a race. It seems oddly appropriate to have a Master Sword Ganon fight in the Master Sword bracket.
That is true. That's true. Very on brand.
Not sure what's going to happen in the Fighter Sword bracket, because I don't think that would work.
Oh, this is interesting. Making a couple checks here. He's going to check Mire Shed and Graveyard Ledge real quick. And the Desert Ledge.
Just $20 in Desert Ledge.
I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I see where he's going. I see where he's coming from on this.
If you're going to check anything, I mean, these are very quick. So
yeah, absolutely.
I agree with the choice of where to check, but yeah, it's definitely it's a tough choice to make.
Did I say Graveyard Ledge? I meant Checkerboard Cave. I'm sorry.
I think you said Graveyard the first time, and then you said Desert after.
Yeah, Desert Ledge, and then Mire Shed and Checkerboard.
And just Piece of Heart and Checkerboard.
Oh, and checking Nagina, too. Interesting. Orange Kubo bringing an idea. Buy potions, drop down again, and save and quit. And then if you die, hard reset to get your potions back. That's not a bad idea. This is a big risk here, but if you're not comfortable with that fight, then this is what you do. It feels bad for sure. We'll see how much he decides to check. That might be it. No, he's going on. Maybe this is Pyramid Fairy.
I'm guessing that's probably what it's going to be.
I don't mind this, certainly.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a... I mean, it's as likely as anywhere else. You know, I actually didn't notice during the Ganon fight where he said the silvers were.
He didn't get there. He died in phase 2.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, that doesn't happen until phase 4. That would be why I didn't notice it.
Oh, Diesel is reminding me in chat that that Silverless Ganon was at the top of that list. But I guess what I meant to say was that IPVJ was above.
Yeah, it's up there.
Was IPVJ was number 2 above Icebreaker is kind of what I was thinking.
But even with Silverless Ganon, there's a pretty big gap between Master Sword Silverless and just, you know, Tempered Silverless.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tempered Silverless is I don't want to say it's a breeze. You know, it's difficult, but once you know it, you know, it's pretty straightforward.
Just a B from the fairy in the pyramid.
Yeah, unfortunately, right, we found that big key pretty early on in Ganon's Towers, in the Dark Magician room, in the Stalfos room. You know, was probably hoping that he was going to be able to find something in there. Jawsome continuing to make checks here, though. At this point, I don't know. Like, is he doing Graveyard Ledge at this point? Like, I don't like this. I think at this point you get potions and you just take it real slow. This feels like panic to me.
A little bit it does, yeah. And there probably is an element of panic that when you're starting to
he's
check
doing
stuff...
this. He's doing the Smith chain. Yeah, I can't co-sign this.
Yeah,
it'll be really interesting to get his thoughts on this after the race.
Yeah, and CJ bringing up a point in chat that if you're going to commit this much time, going back into GT is the place to go. I completely agree with that, because that's where your density is. That's the right place to go to get what you need.
So we were talking before, yeah, I mean, we were talking before about how, like, it was going to take something for Grim to get back in this race. Well, that something has happened, for sure. And at this point, you know, this is still very much a race. With how early this big key is, you know, we'll see. Like, the difference could be maybe Grim continues on and full clears the basement, you know, or continues on and there's a tempered sword in the next chest or something like that.
Was there a key in Hope Room? Maybe Grim goes full right.
There is a key in Hope Room.
There is.
And he is going right.
To go full right.
Yep.
So this could be, and this is why, you know, if you're going to check stuff, you know, the Meyer check kind of makes sense. You could flute there and then flute to go get your potions and go back at it. But if you're going to be checking a bunch of stuff, GT is the place to be.
Yeah, and you know, I don't want to hit him too hard, right? As Orange Kubo just said in chat, Master Sword Silverless Ganon with no cape is really hard. You know,
it really
is no joke. I'm not sure that I can do it, certainly, without a cape. If I would need to be really careful about it, and, you know, and take it extremely slowly. So, you know, I understand, like, getting in there and then being like, oh crap, no, this is not gonna work out, and wanting to make some more checks.
Yeah, and the nerves of being in a tournament situation definitely has to play into it as well.
Nothing on the right side for Grim. Jawsomesauce back into the Dark World. Heading to check K45, perhaps. Maybe Bombo's tablet as well.
I imagine both.
All right, Grimlegend finds the big key. We'll see where he's going. He's mirroring out. Jawsome finds the boots. Oh no. Those aren't going to help.
They're not going to hurt, but yeah, they're not going to get him much.
Might help a little bit in the Ganon fight. Get away from Firebats a little faster. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's true.
Maybe. You do have that charge time of them. It maybe hurt you too.
Yeah, no, that could be worse for all I know. Yeah, but he's looking for silvers or a sword. At this point, like, it doesn't really matter which one he finds. I think either of them is gonna be okay. But coming up empty. Now he's doing North Dark World checks. Oh man, this is certainly, like, I don't like to say that somebody's on tilt, right? Like, I don't know what's going through Jawsome's head here, but this is like, he's cannot feel good about things right now. He's clearly committed to making checks until he finds something. Or at least making overworld checks until he finds something.
Right.
Maybe hoping that, like, all right, I feel like I had a pretty big lead. You know, I'm a couple seeds ahead of Grimlegend, maybe banking that Grim is going to have as much trouble with the fight as he does. You know, maybe he can afford it, but
that's
like,
a possibility. I mean, he does still have some time to burn.
Yeah.
But that time is quickly evaporating.
Oh yeah, Grimlegend already on Landmo 2 here. Jawsome had a full, like, 2 dungeon lead. There are the silver arrows there on Graveyard Ledge. He'll check King's Tomb right here just in case the Tempered Sword is there because he's right next to it. But I imagine that will be good enough.
The one thing about finding the silver arrows, though, is that doesn't help you on phases 1 and 2.
That's true. It does not.
Phase 4, while it takes a long time without the silver arrows, is not particularly difficult per se compared to the other phases.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
The difficulty doesn't change a whole lot with the silver arrows. It just,
well, he's back into the Dark World. He's going to go check Catfish for a sword, too.
Yeah, he definitely wants that sword.
Well, this isn't going to pay off. Grimlegend showed us Catfish. Nothing there. Piece of heart, I think. Or 20 rupees or something.
Wonder if he'll be...
Oh, he's just walking over to the potion shop. Fluting would have been faster, buddy.
Good thing you checked those bottles. Get rid of that bee. Bee is not going to help you on the Ganon fight.
Grim with a nice little dinner bell strat, like, over there, baiting the guards over to the left side, so they're all stuck on the left side conveyor, and he can just walk, like, mosey on up the right hand side conveyor at his leisure. The Garcia says, I think it's really hard to stay in the rhythm of phase 4 Ganon for 24 spins or whatever it is. Nobody is saying that phase 4 Silverless is Master Sword Silverless is easy. It's just less dangerous, right? Because you don't have the fire, like all of those fire bats flying around.
Yeah, it's we're not saying it's easy by any means, just that it's less difficult than phase 2.
All right, save and quit. Come on, save and quit. There you go. All right, Justin, you got to take a shot at this now. Because this race is now essentially tied at this point with Grim on Moldorm 2.
That's a Aga fight difference at this point. Although the Silver Arrow is definitely going to be a time save for the 4th phase.
Absolutely. Yeah, Silvers are a huge time save in this fight. They are not a big safety save. But looks like he's ready to go. Oh man, we this was looking like a bit of a blowout, Kaesden, but we got ourselves a race here.
Yeah, this is a race, and that's what I was saying earlier. When you got a Master Sword Silverless Ganon, you know you can't count the race over until somebody dies.
Picking up that fairy, can bonk it. All right, here we go.
Backwards Ganon over here.
I've never seen him land there in phase 1. That's weird.
I've seen him on the bottom land facing down, but you don't see him land that way very often. Into phase 2.
As Grim drops down into the fight. I have no idea.
Ganon versus Ganon fight.
I have no idea what Grim's potion situation is.
I'm not sure either.
Jawsome taking his time here.
Grim getting a couple double spins there.
Good hook. Grim takes a death. But he has a
Grim
fairy.
does have that fairy.
It's when you get the F ellipsis AERIE in chat. Dueling phase 2s here. Phases 2. Phases 2.
I've lost count of spins at this point.
We're in phase 3 now on Jawsomesauce's side.
Yep, phase 3. There we go.
So he should be good at this point. Has not had to use a potion yet, I believe.
He did use one blue.
He did use one? Okay. But the hard part is over now. Grim down to just 2 hearts.
Where's that potion, Grim? So 1 hit from a bat or a cannon.
All right, into phase 4. Just misses Torch Glitch. Not a big deal with silvers.
Comes that second arrow hit. Get out of the way of the fire bat. Arrow number 3.
Awesome. You're on 1 heart. Okay, there you go.
And a 4th arrow.
There it is.
Jawsome gets it done. Those GGs in chat.
Oh boy. Yikes. I need a drink after that one. Good Lord.
Nice stiff drink.
And Jawsomesauce finishes in first place with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 19 seconds. Grimlegend, with that death, does forfeit immediately after. And so Jawsome takes the win. GG to both of these runners. We're going to see if we can't get them in the booth for an interview here.
Tried. Oh, yep, we're going in. Sorry.
All right. So we are joined by our runners. Your winner tonight, Jawsomesauce, and a runner-up, Grimlegend's Tylersalt and Kaesden in here. How are you guys doing? GG to both of you.
Yeah. Man, that was interesting.
Yeah, Jawsome, I got to start with you. What's going through your mind? So just to kind of give you, so Jawsome had a pretty big lead. Right, about 2 dungeons at that point. You had about a 2 dungeon lead, and then you were both in the Ganon fight at the same time at the end, right? Because you gave that you gave the Master Sword Silverless fight a shot. Didn't go well the first time. What's going through your head at that point?
I just couldn't do it. The second time, I'm like, nope, this isn't gonna work. I gotta go find as many things as I can, and really, I'm just looking for a cape. Or any invincible item. It didn't even have to be a sword or silvers. I just needed. I can't get through the phase 2 without using all my resources. So gotta practice that.
Yeah, I was gonna. The chat was going crazy. They're like, well, I bet he's gonna practice this now. And so when you left, did you just commit to making checks until you found something? Like, how far were you gonna go? Like, would you have gone into a dungeon, for instance?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I couldn't do it. Like, it wasn't my skill set. I tried it twice. The second time I was like, nope. All right. So I went look for density. So I was just looking at my tracker going, all right, there's 5 there, 3 there, whatever. So had I not found the silvers, actually I wanted to keep going after silvers because I was still worried about phase 2. So at that point though, I was already there. I had filled up my bottles and was like, all right, let's just get to phase 4. Like, we just have to get to the silver part and we'll be okay. So
yeah. And Grim, what were your kind of general thoughts about the seed? I think that, like, you kind of fell behind just because of some unfortunate kind of decisions that Jaws made early that panned out, and that you made early that didn't pan out. What were your kind of overall thoughts on the seed?
I should have gone to Ice Palace way earlier than I did. I put it off a little too long.
Hoping to find the mirror for an icebreaker, maybe?
Oh, I don't care about icebreaker, but I was just hoping to find the mirror. That way I could just go mode all the rest of it, because at that point I would have had everything. And I was hoping to find another sword. Sword or silvers? I'm assuming silvers were in Swamp Palace.
They were in Graveyard Ledge, actually.
That figures. At that point, I wasn't checking that anyway.
No.
I mean, I might have had I gone Ice Palace first, but it's all gravy.
That was a fun seed until the end.
Oh yeah, Super Jet, Super Jet. You know,
Jet walking. Yeah.
So it was a very generous seed until it came to the subject of swords, and it's just like, nope.
Yeah,
I think those.
I think a big part of what let Jawsome open up a bit of a lead was the swords, actually, because Jawsome ended up going into the Dark World pretty early, right, and going straight to Hype Cave and finding that sword, right, and it took Grim until about the 50-minute mark to find that sword. And so just the way that the way that you ordered things, right, you happened to go to Hype Cave first, you got a sword, and then you went to Thieves Town, you found a lamp, right?
Yeah.
And so you were able to do Eastern with the sword and the lamp, whereas Grim did it without either, right? And then Grim did Thieves Town without a sword and did Hammer Blind, right? Oh. And so it's just like it goes to show you just how much the order of checks can end up mattering, right? Even if you make all the same checks, the order in which you make them is a huge difference.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what it was in you, Tylersalt, and Lumaga as well, like being my mentors. So shout out to you guys. You taught me about that. Always be going towards crystal dungeons, and so like Hera was a crystal dungeon. Even though I couldn't necessarily complete it, it was okay. Let's go to the mountain because it's Hera, or let's go to the Ice Palace. It was just keep following the crystals. Just in this seed, you need a little more.
Yeah, you need a little bit more than that. Yeah, unfortunately.
At least at my level, at least I need a little help there.
So remind me, Jawsome, you picked the settings for this match, right?
Yep.
All right, and then so Grim, you're going to be picking them for game 2. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. Any?
We're going standard.
Standard.
Cool.
All right. Very good. So hope you practiced your bomb escapes.
I'm gonna go practice Master Sword.
Master Sword.
Master Sword cannon. It's probably worth you. It's probably better use of your
with
time,
no safeties. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a very, very difficult fight to do with no safeties. So like,
I was having trouble finding openings. I mean, even if I would have got them first try, me not going to Ice Palace really messed me up, because then I could have tied in that Graveyard Ledge check in there when I did the other stuff. When I went to go check Mirror Ledge, or you know what I'm talking about, Cape Ledge.
Yeah, Bumper Cave. Yeah,
Bumper Cave. Thank you. So
Jawsome, I have one other bone to pick with you.
I didn't go into Skullwoods.
You didn't go into Skullwoods first. What the heck, man?
Yeah, only because we got the mitts. We're doing stuff in the south. That route is. I know. All
right, it's fine. It's fine. It worked out fine. There was nothing in there.
Yeah.
We had talked about that earlier today. That was the only reason I bring it up. So I'm sorry. I've been asking all the questions. Kaesden, do you have any questions for these fine two folks?
I think you covered most of it. The only thing I would add, I guess, prior to dropping into the Master Sword Silverless, did you have any thoughts to maybe go clear more of GT looking for a sword upgrade?
I did. I just thought about it and was like, nope, let's just do this. And I don't think it registered in my brain that I didn't have a cape or Burna. So I was like, oops, too late.
Yeah.
I knew
once you leave, it's you're done at that point.
Yeah.
I was just hoping to get some fortuitous shots on him and get out. If I get out of phase 2, I'm in good shape. But unfortunately, going Thieves Town, going the Thieves Town instead of Hype Cave up really kind of cost me a lot too. So it's all good.
Yeah, I don't even think that was a wrong choice. It happened to be wrong in this seed. That's one of those decisions that's just could go either way.
There's a difference between a wrong choice and a bad choice, right? It was the wrong choice, but it wasn't a bad choice for sure.
Yeah, I thought my execution was really, really good and just unlucky.
Good.
But
that's what happens. That's what happens. So GG to both of you. Do you all have your game 2 scheduled yet?
I think we're doing Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday at 9 still.
All
Yeah,
right.
8 or 9, it doesn't matter. Whenever you
Something
want
like that. 9 Eastern, I mean.
Thursday evening for these two folks. Let me pull up the schedule here as well real quick. What else we got going on? Tomorrow, we have a couple matches. We have the other semifinal in the Master Sword bracket, game 2 between It's Otter and Shaky. That is Ambrosia tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Also at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, game 2 in the Tempered Sword bracket between McMonkey and Nephistos. And then game 2 later on tomorrow at 9 p.m. in the Tempered Sword bracket between Witty and Thornetto. Witty and Thornetto, the Witty and Thornetto match is slated to be restreamed right here on this very channel. All right. Any final thoughts from either of our runners today?
It was a fun seed.
Mm-hmm.
Just unlucky, which is all right. I'm okay with that.
For sure. And thanks to everybody for this tournament and this everything community that's been built. I've been having a blast and meeting everybody and getting to play a lot of Rando. It's the important part.
That is the important part. So make sure, folks who are still listening, give these guys a follow on Twitch. Their handles are in the chat. Thank you to both of you for putting on a show here today and joining us in the booth for an interview. Thank you once again to our tracker, OmegAtoisk, and to Lumaga for putting together the restream. Kaesden, I had fun doing comms with you. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for letting me be in the booth with you. It was fun.
Absolutely, anytime. My name is Tylersalt. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, Rando, it's good. Good night, everybody.
Thanks.